Welcome back to our second episode of our podcast, Don't Chew With Your Mouth Open, where we discuss sustainable wealth creation strategies for people who live and conduct business and invest in the global south. It's been great to have you, and we're happy to have you back with us today. What are we looking to discuss? We're looking to discuss bootstrapping. How do we build wealth with as little means as possible to grow to become something meaningful? It's difficult, it takes time, but it's very possible. We're always encouraged when we see other people do it, but it takes our own personal discipline to get it right. We hopefully will address as many concerns as we can in this episode, but we'll go into deeper detail about these things in later episodes, and hopefully you can join us and partner with us in this journey. My name is Thamsanqa Netha. I'm the host of the show. Let's go into it. Okay, so let's start by addressing the major elephant in the room around bootstrapping in our part of the world: access to capital. Unfortunately, capital is like water. It always takes the path of least resistance. And when we don't have a lot of it, the biggest fear of any investor is the permanent loss of their capital. So whenever we start addressing matters around capital, we have to look at how do we position ourselves to be attractive to those who have the excess savings. In our part of the world, there are parts and pots of capital we can use. Pension funds in some countries, bank financing in others. But fundamentally, the global capital savers are not often residing in our part of the world. And we then have to continue to present ourselves in a way that makes us a viable opportunity set for them. And I hope to share a few principles on how we can get that started as we progress in our journey. The first step: start with where you are. We have to have practical, real conversations about where you are. If you are in debt, your first step is to service debt. If you have excess capital, your responsibility is to say, what opportunities can I address with my level of risk appetite? If you can invest 10 pesos, 10 rands, 100,000 naira into an opportunity and you can lose that money, then you know that your risk appetite is high. If the loss of those savings is detrimental, then that's not a pot to think about. You've got to build onto it a pot that is able to be put aside for risk. And that can take time, sometimes your entire lifetime. And we have to be frank about that. One of the major challenges I've faced when I talk to CEOs, when I talk to people in business, the often complaint is we don't have fixed capital formation. That's a complicated economic term to say we don't have pathways in which we can build wealth. We can build capital that can be invested in what we do. On the other parts of the world, say America, for example, there is so much capital there. They are looking and searching for high returns. However, their key challenge is they don't find opportunities that fit their appetite. And we need to restructure ourselves, which leads me to my second point. You've got to leverage your knowledge and your networks. Who do you know and what do they want to do? Going after capital is the same like chasing any opportunity. You've got to consistently present yourself appropriately. You've got to put yourself in the position to win. I've got a friend of mine who often says, if you hang around the barber shop, you will eventually get a haircut. And it's important that we also hang around people who make capital decisions. People you went to varsity with, people you work with, people within your framework that know and understand capital. Understand how capital is determined to reach you. We will go into much further detail about this. And as we go into it in later episodes, I hope it helps you, because it is a frustrating thing for any entrepreneur, any wealth creator who has what they believe is a great idea and a great opportunity, but is not being supported by friends, by family, by financial institutions, by the state, or any other investor. And the reality of it is we have to put ourselves into the position to which we are investable. not in our eyes, but in the eyes of those who have capital. It's a difficult conversation, it's a hard one, but it must be had. The final one is we've got to understand money. And by money, I mean the financial metrics that are important to those who invest. Part of what we do as Shiloh Capital is an activity called due diligence. We dig into a business so we can understand it, understand its risks, understand how it works, understand its value drivers, understand what could hurt it, what their competitors look like, and we present this report to potential investors. We also have to present the forward-looking, what the business could do, what the opportunity set for that business is. And inside that report are key financial metrics that investors always look for. How is the cash flow? How much money can we make? How much money does the business keep? Who are the suppliers? What's the cost of creating that revenue? And again, we're going to get into all this jargon as we go forward in the future episodes. But what's important for you to understand is there is a whole world of equipment and technologies that can help you, and information that can help you understand these metrics, so that you are prepared to either be a great investor or to receive investment as an entrepreneur. I have a friend of mine who's also a great entrepreneur, has exited 2 businesses. And one of the key things he understood was how to make his business palatable to whoever was going to buy it. He spent 3 years before selling a business making sure that that business can be sold. The investors were clamoring to buy into the business because he had set it up in a manner that was likable to investors. And this is part of what we have to discuss, part of the journey we have to take. Are you palatable to global capital? And our advice, or our suggestions rather, are there to assist you to build a scenario in which you can invest into the right sort of businesses that give you sustainable returns, that you as an entrepreneur can structure your business for greater investment and greater exits, and we hopefully can build out sustainable wealth for everyone involved. Please hang on as we continue. So bootstrapping your way to wealth requires a particular mindset. That mindset is quite challenging for a lot of us, but it's inherent in how we are often brought up. It requires 3 things: resilience, resourcefulness, and frugality. Most people in the global south, whether in Brazil or Southeast Asia, whether you are in South Africa where we are now, or you are in any other part of the developing world, those 3 elements are always important in not only wealth creation, but also in survival. Resilience, your ability to deal with difficult situations. And often this is an underestimated element in investment. Your ability to control your emotions, manage the hard things, and build something that's meaningful and sustainable. We often ignore that a lot of what drives value is behind hard things. And often we are told the hard things about hard things, developing this way, the path of that. But the reality is you've got to be able to stand the test of time. You've got to be able to stand by your decision and be able to change it when new information arrives. Being able to sustain yourself through the process of building and investing and transferring that asset to somebody else at a valuable price requires for you to be able to go through the difficulties of building, maintaining, and managing a business, an opportunity set, or an investment opportunity. A lot of sleepless nights have been spent by people who can't handle the volatility of investment. You need to understand yourself, understand your risk, and be able to stomach what we go through every day in trying to make things work. Resourcefulness, being able to make $1 stretch further. That is a key element we are taught as well as we grow up in the global south. How to manage the scarce resources we have and convert scarcity into opportunity. That is one of the key elements of bootstrapping. And we believe there's a lot of opportunity that exists in the scarcity we have, where we have a lack of particular issues, particular products, particular services. There's an opportunity set there, both to be exploited by the entrepreneur and to be supported by the investor. We think there's a lot of those opportunities that exist, And we are in the business, not only as individuals, but at Shiloh Capital, of converting scarcity into opportunity. Finally, frugality. This is a difficult one. This is why we named our podcast, Don't Chew With Your Mouth Open. You need to be able to manage your wealth and make it stretch. Save and don't be wasteful. Capital is rare on our side of the world. It's a difficult thing to come by. And when you get it, and you get it in large sums, it's important that it's managed in a manner in which it can continue for generations to come. So we need to be frugal. It's a hard thing to tell people who've had little to not enjoy their lives. No one is saying don't enjoy your life. Yes, enjoy your life, go on holiday, have nice cars, build great houses. However, we need to know that capital has a lot that it can do, not only for you, but for your grandchildren. And we need to manage it and manage it well and watch it like a hawk. If we maintain these three principles, we will be able to bootstrap our way to very good wealth creation. And as we said in the first episode, our goal is not just to put money in your pocket, but to put money in the pocket of your grandchildren. And that wealth transfer is what creates opportunity, it's what creates power, and power creates influence, and influence can create change. So the key takeaways from this episode are simple. Start with where you are. Start with what you have. Don't look for perfect conditions. Don't look for perfect timing. Don't look for perfect opportunity. Just go ahead and begin. Save that money. Invest in that opportunity. Start that business and look for opportunities to create wealth. Secondly, resilience, resourcefulness, frugality. Those three principles are key to ensuring that we can bootstrap our way to success. Finally, cash is king and queen. Focus on the cash. Cash is the lifeblood of any business, of any investment opportunity. How does what you're doing fundamentally put money in your pocket? If you focus on that and not vanity metrics, focus on clear metrics that lead to cash flows, you'll have a sustainable business or a sustainable investment opportunity. What do we have to look forward to next time? In our next episode, we'll be discussing navigating uncertainty. The volatility change that happens in our part of the world is quite rapid and sometimes can be causing people to feel like opportunities don't exist and that there is no world in which wealth can be created. We are going to address each part of that uncertainty and give you a framework to manage the volatility on our side of the world. Hopefully the strategies we'll give you will help you get better at managing, creating and building wealth for the future generations. We look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.